It is an accidental, absolutely unexpected discovery of a global level. This mystery cost some their lives and changed the lives of others. It took 3 centuries to authenticate the authorship of this masterpiece. Two buildings, two different worlds, the East and the West, Europe and Asia. Every new step takes us from one country to another, from one era to another. The Bogdan and Varvara National Art Museum is one of the 3rd largest throughout the post-Soviet countries. Exhibits were brought from all over the world for decades. There are rare copies of global scale, such as this still-life painting of Spanish Baroque painter Juan de Zurbarán. It took more than a dozen hours, a canvas, oil paints, and many layers of work to create this masterpiece. Each previous layer should dry out, as there should be no cracking effect, which could ruin the layers. It was done with oil paints using brushes of different thicknesses. 2 jugs for milk and water, 2 cups, one of which is turned over. A tray, a tin box for transporting chocolate paste, and a mill for whipping chocolate. This small and ordinary at first glance sight, still life, represents the author's great talent and conceals a hidden message. The still life paintings of the 17th century usually have dual symbolic meaning. The fact that this dull, still life at first sight is a luxurious and magnificent piece of artwork. The official title of this painting is Still Life with a Chocolate Mill, the most famous work of the Spanish artist. It was symbolic for the author and for those who preserved it. But what was so special about this work, to which Zurbarán devoted so much time? How did this work affect the destiny of the painter? What are the other secrets of this canvas? Juan de Zurbarán is a master of the still life painting. Son of the famous artist Francisco de Zurbarán, was born in the city of Lera, a Spanish municipality, in 1620. He gained his artistic talent in the workshop of his famous father, who often helped him. The father devoted most of his works to a religious theme, while Juan painted exclusively still-life paintings.
Зурбарán, син Франциска Зурбаrána, дуже відомого іспанського митця доби бароко.
Zurbarán, the son of Francisco Zurbarán, the famous Spanish painter of the Baroque era, was an interesting person.
Цей натюрморт, напевне,
He was a poet and a dancer.
та тими колами, до яких він
He preferred luxury. This still life must have something to do with his lifestyle and that of the people who surrounded him. The still life with the chocolate mill was painted in 1640 when the artist was just 20 years old. The appearance of the picture holds magic and mystery. This isn't his first painting. There is very little information about his works. The painting technique improved his high level of skills at such a young age. Zurbarán considered this work a success. He signed his masterpiece widely and put a date on it. Experts and ordinary people are consistently impressed by Zurbarán's still-life paintings. But not each of them has a special history. This work contrasts with other paintings as it has its own special history.
Тут треба спершу згадати, чим був шоколад для людей.
It's important to understand the value of chocolate for old Europe. It was a very expensive product that only kings and high priests could afford. It was imported from America.
Було імпортне, з Америки привезене.
There's a romantic story behind this work of art. The story of the appearance of chocolate in Europe has a long trail of blood behind it. Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés captured the ancient capital of Mexico in 1519. He tortured and forced the Indian chefs to reveal the secrets of making chocolate.
Для приготування напою шоколадну пасту, масу, привезену через океан до Європи, розводили...
Chocolate brought to Europe from overseas was mixed with milk or water and whipped into a foam. Using a spoon depicted in the still life, people could eat or drink it with coffee.
Яку потім за допомогою ложечки, вона також є у натюрморті, перекладали до філіжанок і потім доливали напій, і можна було його пити і їсти.
The artist encoded the chocolate recipe in his still life painting. As a matter of fact, the canvas has another hidden meaning.
Шоколад у католицькій Іспанії, де дуже велику...
Chocolate in Catholic Spain, with many posts, wasn't considered a fasting dish. It was possible to eat it during the fasting season if you could afford it. Still life paintings depicting chocolate sometimes appeared in monastic refectories. Probably this work decorated the walls of one of them, though its author had far from religious motives. The product was incredibly popular among people. The product brought from overseas was also in great demand among the secular aristocracy. The aristocracy was fond of chocolate because of its powerful aphrodisiac effect. The work of the great painter and chocolate became iconic not only for secular and spiritual aristocracy, it determined the destiny of the author himself.
Через рік після написання цього натюрморту Хуан де Зурбарán одружився.
He married a year after the painting was done. Human passion and a passion for love is another aspect of this masterpiece. It's probably the author's passionate love of his future wife that inspired him. Or maybe he might have heard or saw something that had to do with love, and passion led him to this idea.
Можливо, він десь чув чи бачив щось пов'язане з цими речами і таке написав.
One of the best works of the Spanish painter disappeared for several centuries. It was found again in the late 19th century purely by accident. The Khaninko spouses returned to Kiev in the 1880s after a long absence. Bogdan Khaninko finished his service as a judge in the Warsaw Court District. In Kiev, he decided to pursue a collection of art.
Богдан Іванович Ханенко почав колекціонувати твори.
Bogdan Khaninko began collecting works of art back in the 1870s. In 1874, he was married to Barbara Tereshchenko, and the couple decided to travel.
Терещенко, і подружжя почало подорожувати.
They traveled to different countries where they visited various auctions and bought works of art.
І направляли їх сюди.
They sent the items they bought to their estate in Kiev, which was undergoing its final phase of construction. These works were to enrich the interior decor of their estate and form a collection of works of art from around the world. Upon their return from Warsaw, the spouses lived in Kiev and Moscow, attentively monitored the antique market. The Khaninko couple regularly visited antique and second-hand shops, buying works of world art. They found one of their masterpieces by accident.
Одна з подорожей була до Москви. І там Богдан Іванович
During one of his trips in Moscow, Khaninko met a longtime friend.
коней Миколою Малютіним.
During their conversation, Khaninko found out that his friend had bought an old house with many antique paintings. The new owner wasn't interested in art at all and moved all of the works of art up into the attic. Bogdan Khaninko decided to visit the newly bought house.
І там виявилося, дуже велика кількість.
The attic contained a lot of masterpieces by old painters. Among them, Kanyenko found true masterpieces. Still Life with the Chocolate Mill was one of
Це був
them.
натюрморт Хуана де Зурбарана, натюрморт із млинком для шоколаду.
Bogdan Kanyenko bought mostly every piece of artwork he found in
Все,
that
що він
attic.
побачив на цьому горищі.
Kanyenko brought everything from his house in Moscow as a surprise for his wife, Barbara. Kanyenko didn't understand why her husband would need so many paintings.
І тільки через кілька днів, коли Богдан Іванович
Kanyenko sold most of the unneeded pictures of not very high quality, leaving only the true masterpieces for himself.
він це зробив.
Those masterpieces were transported to his Kiev residence. The Still Life with the Chocolate Mill painting was among them. However, the collector attributed the authorship to his father.
Так, спочатку вважали, що ця робота...
There was an inscription, Fran, hinting at Francisco on the canvas. That's why everyone believed the picture's true author was Francisco de Zurbarán.
І тільки наприкінці ХХ століття, коли
At the end of the 20th century, experts revealed the secret of the signature through an infrared ray.
червоними променями, стало зрозуміло, що підпис означає не Франциско де Зурбарán.
Було виявлено ще одну рисочку.
They found another dash, and the name Juan was revealed. Only at the end of the 20th century was the authentic name of the author discovered, which increased the value of the painting. There weren't many works of the younger.
Майже всі його твори, вони відносяться до цього періоду. Це
Almost all of his works belong to that period. We have very little information about his works. 3 of his paintings are located in Barcelona at the Catalona Museum of Art. Another still life is displayed in Chicago at the Chicago Museum of Fine Arts. The plague was raging throughout Europe at the time. It killed the artist at the age of 29. Though he did not leave behind many paintings, they are true masterpieces. The canvas displayed at the Ukrainian Museum is one of great value. It contains the authentic signature and the date of its creation.